Hello and welcome to this episode of the Mary-Jess Meets podcast. I am thrilled to be welcoming back to the podcast one of my very best friends, Irish soprano Emer Barry. She has a master's in music. She has sung all over the world. She tours America every year with her beautiful Celtic group, Ever Dream. She creates stunning arrangements, and she has some very exciting news with the launch of her brand new Emer Dreamer Club. So let's find out more and welcome back to the podcast, Emer Barry. So Emer, welcome to the Mary-Jess Meets podcast.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. This is one of my favorite places to be.
That's you're such a charmer. I love it. Well, I'm thrilled to have you back because we've got a lot to catch up on with our listeners here, haven't we?
I know so much news. I'm like bursting at the seams with all of the excitement. So
Well, you are. You've got an awful lot to share with us today. So we can start off with maybe talking about Everdream, if you'd be happy.
yes. So I think actually the last time I was here, I don't think Everdream had come into existence yet.
No.
But it was sort of there was an older group, and then we sort of reformed and rebranded under the name Everdream. And this is the group that goes on tour to the USA with the show A Celtic Christmas every December. And obviously we had to have a little break during the years of COVID, which was not fun because it's my favorite thing to do is to go to the US, see all of our kind of USA family, as we call them, and perform in these venues that we've been performing in for the last 10 years. And unfortunately, we had to take an enforced hiatus there for a little while. But we got back on tour in 2022, and then we were back in 2023, and we're planning our biggest tour for 2024 December. So we'll be doing venues we haven't done before. And it's just been a really exciting year for Everdream. Kind of all the rebranding, we've created new tracks, we've done some new music videos, we started a new YouTube channel. So a lot has been happening, and it's just like you know yourself, like life is not the same if you're not creating. Like there's this buzz from creating and from live performance that you just miss when it's not there. So the fact that we've been so busy in front of audiences and creating stuff for, the digital kind of audience has just been really, really fabulous. So yeah, it's great.
It is great. And what you're creating is absolutely amazing. I just adore the tracks that you've created. Would you tell us more about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to burst onto the scene with something a little bit different. We perform all the sort of, normal kind of Celtic repertoire, like your Danny Boy and Doolama and the song about seaweed. And
I love
also,
that
all
one.
yeah, it's a great one. It's a great one. It's one of our signature tunes on tour. But we wanted to sort of, come introduce Everdream to the world with something a little bit different. So we took the track "Flowers" by Miley Cyrus that won a Grammy earlier this year, and we put a Celtic stamp on it. So it's flowers like you've never heard it before. It's sort of got a Celtic sort of a feel, and then like a kind of a Celtic tune comes in the middle that you're not expecting, and then it ramps up again, and yeah, it's probably flowers are Miley Cyrus as nobody ever expected. So Miley Cyrus with ball gowns and like an Irish dancer. So it's and a classical voice and a harp. Nobody saw it coming.
No, but that's why it's so genius because the
Yeah.
reinvention works so beautifully. You say it all like that and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine it. And then you
Yeah.
watch the video and you hear the song and you're like, why wasn't it done like this originally? It's so good.
Exactly. Somebody tell Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. It is absolutely stunning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to Flowers in the description,
Thank
as
you.
well as our previous podcast recording. I'll leave a link to that and to your YouTube channel, Everdream's YouTube channel, as well as your new YouTube channel as well. So there'll be lots of things for people to check out in the description. But just tell us about the other track that you did as well, because I'll definitely leave a link to that.
Yeah. So then after that, we did a cover of Dreams by the Cranberries, who were like just one of the best bands to ever come out of Ireland. And yeah, one of their songs that was kind of big in the 90s, I think, was Dreams. And we decided again to do a very laid back, dreamy version of that because we're not a pop band, as you know. So we thought, how can we make this extra Celtic and dreamy? And it is very, very soothing and relaxing. That's the feedback we're getting. So that's the other track we did.
It is. And I just adore all the layered vocals that you did in that, all
Oh,
the
thank
harmonies and
you.
everything. Oh, they're stunning.
Thank you. Yeah, well, Teresa and Mary did some of the backing vocals for that. So I sort of had to, nudge them quite kind of gently, but, persistently to get them to do backing vocals. And it sounds absolutely fantastic. So I might be
Yeah,
out
it
of a
really
job
does.
soon.
It really does sound amazing. I love how you guys sound together. Um,
Thank you.
but yes, that's on Everdream's YouTube channel, isn't it?
That is, yes.
Yes. So do you want to tell us about your new YouTube channel?
Yeah, so my new YouTube channel, I've had it for a number of years, but then I was building a different channel, and now I've come back to the original one, and I have all of these plans to build and create more. Again, like I keep coming back to it, I sort of had a sort of a barren period where I didn't really record or create much. And I couldn't understand why I was just feeling a little bit disconnected from myself,
Mm.
and I kind of thought, well, what if I just sort of went back towards the things that used to light me up, and just see if that little flicker can be turned into a flame again. And we've talked about this before, that sometimes you sort of need to give yourself the little nudge before you actually light up. So I've been recording lots of things behind the scenes, and I've plans to do music videos, and my YouTube channel is going to be very active over the next few months and years, I guess. So that's exciting because sometimes you sort of need to push yourself to sort of find the motivation. My grandmother had a great phrase that was, action precedes motivation. Sometimes we're sitting there, waiting for the motivation to hit us to do something and then wondering why it's not coming. And I think sometimes you need to just get up and do the thing, and then the motivation and the fire sort of follows you. It catches up with you. So I have found that kind of to be quite true with this. Once I got started, I was like, oh my God, there's so much to come. There's so much to do. There's so much creativity, like lighting up my brain. So yeah, there'll be a lot coming out over the next kind of 12 months, 24 months. As long as I am alive, there will be there will be music and videos, because that's one of my favorite things to do is music videos. I really, really love the creative process of that, and I love the digital family that I have now on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Well, it's not Twitter anymore, but X. Um, it's just really nice to sort of be back in the driving seat and creating again. So
That's absolutely wonderful. And I love that saying because you know I've been influenced a lot by the sayings in my family. So it's
yeah,
lovely how you've been able to take that on board and have it work so well for you.
yeah,
And I completely agree. Once you get going with something, the ideas
yeah.
start coming forward a bit more, don't they? And you
It's
start
so
to really
true.
feel excited about these
Yeah,
things. Yeah, it
yeah,
just
and it's
takes a little while.
it does, because and I think most people, but particularly artists, because our industry was affected so badly by COVID. I mean, I think most of us sort of went through that phase of kind of going, I used to have this consistent fire in my belly. Where did it go?
Yeah.
And that's something that I hadn't experienced before, because I was always busy. I was always keeping myself busy, so the fire never went out. And then when I found that it sort of wasn't there, I was like, oh my goodness, how do I do anything without it there? So it's really about sort of just, I always have this image of taking my little Emer by the hand and going, it's okay, let's try it. Let's just do this thing and see what happens. See if we find the fire by doing the thing. So yeah, that's kind of been a little journey for me over the last year, and it's been lovely, I have to say.
Yeah. Oh, that's so wonderful to hear. And I really love that idea of taking little Emer by the hand and going, come on, let's
Yeah,
just try the thing. And
yeah,
that's so nice because that's how you would talk to a child, isn't it? You go, come on, let's just try and see how you get on. And so it's nice when we can talk to ourselves like that rather than I think
yeah.
sometimes we fall into the trap of going, oh, why aren't I coming up with anything and kind of
Yes.
berating yourself. But
Oh, it's so
we
bad for
haven't
you.
It is. And we haven't found ourselves in that position before, really. So you need
Exactly.
to come from a place of kindness when you're going through something that you haven't experienced before. So, well,
100%.
in all cases, you need to show yourself kindness, really, don't you? But I love that. I love that image. Taking little Emer
Yeah.
by
Well,
the
it's
hand.
something it's something that I learned I had to do because I had fallen into the trap of being, what the hell is wrong with you? You know, and
Mm,
talking to yourself like that, it actually makes you shrink even a little bit more, you know?
yeah.
And kind of realizing that you can be really kind and gentle with yourself actually allows you to grow and flourish, you know. So that's a practice that I've been engaging in, and it's been really good, and it's helping me create more things. And as you said, you know, once sort of you push yourself a little bit, more ideas kind of flood into your brain, and you can kind of, you know, like they always say when you're teaching a child to learn something, that criticism doesn't make the child learn better, encouragement does. And I think we need to sort of relearn that lesson as we get older, because, you know, essentially our subconscious mind, or whatever you want to call it, is just a very fragile thing that needs encouragement and love and kindness all the time. And if you cultivate that as a habit, it can be really nourishing, is the word I would use.
Nourishing is a great word.
Isn't
That's
it?
really true. Yeah, absolutely. Because nourish you're feeding that subconscious, you're feeding your
Yes.
inner child, so that they
Yes.
can then flourish later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And I just adore your creativity. So
Thank you.
anything that nourishes that, I'm all for it. Because your mind, you come up with some of the most incredible combinations. And like
Oh,
one
well, thank
example
you.
that springs to mind is on YouTube, I believe, created during lockdown, where you've got it was an Elvis song, wasn't it? Combined with
Oh,
Ave
yeah.
Maria. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Can't help
Now,
falling in love.
that's right. Now, I
Yeah.
can't take credit for that. The only thing I can take credit for is the fact that I know Niall Kinsella, who was the genius behind that. And he's just this really kind, generous, talented person that we sort of were performing at a lot of kind of masses together during over COVID. And he had this idea. Oh no, we were doing a concert, and I was performing "Can't Help Falling in Love" by Elvis, and he was like, "Do you know, this is really similar to the Schubert Ave Maria. Do you mind if I try something?" And when he just started playing the accompaniment in that Schubert style, I was like, "Oh my God, no, this is incredible!" So he
Yeah.
actually gifted me that arrangement during COVID, and I was able to record it with him and a cellist, and put it up on YouTube. So yeah, that's something I'd love to do, a kind of a proper studio recording of at some point. But yeah,
Yeah.
too many ideas, not
I
enough time.
know. But Niall, what a wonderful person. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
gifting
he's
you that.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I just
yeah,
love the recording of it. So yeah, a proper studio recording would be
I think so.
amazing. It really
Yeah.
would. But you've put other songs together before in like mashups, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Um, Oh yeah. Oh no, I do love doing that. I have to say, one of my most successful videos on YouTube is Silent Night with my friend Lynn Hillary, who was in Celtic Woman, and she's another gorgeous, generous, beautiful soul. Um, and I came up with the idea of fusing Silent Night with Brahms' Lullaby, um, because you know, Silent Night is like a lullaby, and I have to say I love that as a mashup. Yeah, I do. My brain tends to, and you know what? It always happens as I'm dropping off to sleep. I'll be
Oh,
going
really?
off to sleep, and then suddenly an idea will come out. I'll be like, "Oh my God, that's the idea!" So when the noise gets quietened in my mind, I tend to have my best ideas. In the shower
Mm.
as well. That's another place I have ideas.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like you need to be in the shower and falling asleep a lot to like
Quite
bless the
often.
world with all these ideas.
Yes.
Because
I
yes,
think
the Silent Night lullaby, I just adore that so much. That was the one I was thinking of that I was hoping
there
you'd
was, yeah.
say.
There's a few of them that I've told you about them, but I haven't put them into the world yet. I do mashups are kind of one of my favorite things. So we'll have
Mm.
to see now if we can reconvene in a year's time and be like, oh my God, look at that mashup you did last year. But
Oh,
nobody knows what
definitely.
it is yet.
Oh, we'll definitely make that happen. 100%. But it's not just your mashups that I really love, it's your interpretations of songs. And I know that one of them got very high praise recently when it was chosen to be on TV, your version of Pure Imagination.
Yes. Oh, I was so excited. Things were kind of a little bit slow for a little while for me. And, you know, it often happens that when you're feeling a little bit like, oh my goodness, I need some good news, that you will get an email or something that sort of lifts you a little bit. And last year I got contacted by an Irish TV station. They were doing a program and they said, listen, we're doing a program on a children's bookstore in County Galway in Ireland, and we want to kind of accompany that segment with Pure Imagination. And we came across your version, and it's very sort of like relaxed and Celtic, and you know, really fits with the thing. So do you mind if we use it? I was like, do I mind if you put my track on TV? I do not mind. So I was thrilled with that. It was featured on this, I think it was nationwide. And it was funny because actually I was up visiting my mother-in-law, and I didn't know when this program was coming on, and we were literally just about to sit down to eat dinner in front of the TV as classy ladies, and it literally, that was the station she had on, and I was like, oh my god, I'm on the telly. That's me. So yeah, that was super exciting as well, and I love that song, and it is very magical, and there aren't that many recordings of it in our genre of kind of classical crossover. I know our friend Joanna Forrest did a wonderful version of it as well.
Yeah.
But there aren't that many done in that sort of more dreamy style, you know. So
No,
nice
I think you're completely right. And your version, the way you interpreted it was so beautiful. And it must have been
Thank
so
you.
exciting to be there and it come on
Really
TV
was.
like that.
Yeah, it really was. I was just sitting down to eat my dinner, and I think I was even walking into the living room, and I heard my voice, and I'm like, oh my God, where am I? So yeah,
That's
it's
really
super exciting.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is super exciting. And I love how you describe things like your place in our genre as creating dreamy versions of things. So not only with the Cranberries cover that you did, but Pure Imagination creating a dreamy version. And this dream idea has really taken form in your latest venture. Please tell us all
Yes.
about your very brand new Emer Dreamer Club.
Oh my God. Even to
Oh
hear
my
somebody
God!
else say it is so
Oh, it's
exciting.
so exciting.
It's really exciting. So as you know, as I'm sure many of your listeners know, there
Mm,
is, you know, there is an opportunity in today's digital world to become a patron of the artists that you like. And essentially that means that you can, you know, help that artist create more music. So you're part of them putting more music and more art into the world. And
mm.
it's such a special thing to be able to do, because throughout time artists have always had patrons, but usually just the one who has like loads of money, and one person will be like, I'm a patron of the arts, and you know, support a particular artist. But now that we live in this digital world, we have the opportunity for people all over the world to support a particular artist. And I know you have your wonderful Mary-Jess Club that you started a number of years ago. And as my wonderful friend Mary-Jess, you have been like, Emer, you need to have a club. Emer, you need to have a club. Emer, you need to have a club. I'm like, but do I?
Oh yes,
So
oh yes, you
now
do.
I do, and a number. To be fair, a number of my followers on Facebook have kind of contacted me and said, you know, you should really have a club. So with that sort of, you know, narrative like flying around my head, I have started the Emer Dreamer Club,
Ah,
and it's very exciting,
oh, it's
very
fabulously
very exciting.
exciting.
Now, I do want to mention that the term Emer Dreamer was not initially coined by myself. There's a lovely man from the US called James Parker who started a fan club a number of years ago when he started following me, called the Emer Dreamer Club, or fan club, or fan page, or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because my name, a lot of people, especially in the US, don't, or even in the UK, wouldn't know how to pronounce my name. So it is, I always say it's pronounced like the word dreamer. So I did a show in 2019, a tour of the US with Songs of Ireland. a different group, and James Parker arrived to that show wearing a t-shirt that said Emer Dreamer on it. So I feel he needs to be mentioned as part of this Emer Dreamer initiative. So hi to James. But yeah, so now I have started the Emer Dreamer sort of membership patron club. And I'm so excited about it. So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I was nervous, I was hesitant because I thought, oh God, I don't want anybody to feel left out or like I'm charging to be seen. I'm not. It's sort of like I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be on socials, I'll still be creating lots of music. But the point is, these patrons, these dreamers are helping me create, music and videos for everybody else, So it's really exciting. And you know yourself, it just means that you can actually say, like, I think you even had a phrase like it's your creation pot, that you get to like pop some kind of some fees in there and be able to go, okay, well, this is to invest in creating more music. So the Emer Dreamer Club is on Ko-fi, which is spelled Ko-fi.
Yeah.
And there are 3 different tiers. So the tier 1 is €9 a month, and people get access to a private Facebook group where I'll be doing lots and lots of different things like, live chats, live concerts from my house, behind the scenes footage. People will get to vote on kind of, maybe songs or merchandise that I'll be bringing out in the future. That's the Facebook group. The second tier is €22 a month. And then there's more stuff involved in that as well. So there's, gosh, I can't, what's in the next tier?
Well, you're delivering so much, Emer. I'm not surprised you can't remember all of it.
Yeah,
because
I know.
you've got 3 tiers, and each one of them is action-packed, full of
It is.
so many different things that you're offering. And I think that really shows in everything you do. You want it to be the best that you can deliver for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, so always. And I want to sort of, so the whole thing is, obviously the patrons help us to create.
Yeah.
But there is sort of like the rewards or the perks that you get in return. Every artist wants to make sure that they're worthwhile. So I put a lot of time into sort of figuring out, if I was a patron of the arts, what would I like to get, So in the second tier, there's a personalized greeting, there's a postcard, sent from me for when I'm on tour. In the next tier, the Dream Makers tier, there's like a Zoom chat with me where you get to one-on-one time and ask me any questions that you like. There's a Dream Maker mug, so that every time you drink your coffee in the morning, you're reminded that you're making dreams happen. So yeah, there's more than that. I just can't remember because there's so much.
So many. Yeah, there's a massive long list of all of these things that you're offering. And it's just a wonderful thing that you're able to offer, because as you know, with my club members, I call them my lighthouses.
Yeah.
It's after my song Lighthouse of Mine that was on my debut album Shine. I also released an acoustic version, but I feel like they are my beacons of hope, because not only is it a wonderful safe space on the internet where I can just talk to these wonderful people, but it's thanks to them that I am able to create what I am able to create.
Absolutely.
Because in this day and age of streaming and people getting things for a little tiny subscription, and then the artists don't see any of that money. Once we've created something, we don't get a return on it. And then how are we supposed to be able to create more if it's not for these wonderful patrons of the arts?
Absolutely. That's exactly it. And like, there are so many people that love the opportunity to support the artists that they like, from kind of downloading and streaming. Even commenting on a YouTube video is a real, really helps us to reach more people. Sharing with friends, there's so many ways that you can support, and this is just another way to support that is sort of, a different way. And it just allows us to sort of say, okay, what else can I create? What else can I put out there? Which means that we get to do what we love, and we get to sort of put more stuff in the world that we hope will sort of lift people up or be meaningful to them. And that's the whole reason that we do what we do,
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I really love about, I mean, there's so many things about my Lighthouses in the club, but because they're making my musical dreams come true, because I'm able to create things thanks to their support, I love taking them on the journey of making those things. So as soon as I get a new mix through, I'll open up my laptop, play it on a Facebook Live in our exclusive Facebook club, and they get to hear it when I hear it for the first time. And it's just so exciting, and it's so much fun, and we get to have a conversation. Or what do you think about this mix? Do you think this melody line is good in there? Do you think this lyric is good? Maybe I should change it to this lyric. What do you think? And they're really in on that creative process, and it's so much fun when you get to create things together like that. It just, oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
And then when they sort of listen to the final version that gets out into the world, they're able to say, I was actually part of that. You know, I was, they're kind of like producers. There's just many producers, you know?
Yeah, that's completely right. Not only were they part of that creative process, but it's thanks to them that we were able to do it, that we were even able to create this thing. So it's so wonderful when you get to the chance to not only get that creative brain in motion, but when you get to share it with other people in that collaborative way as well, it just, that's what music is about, isn't it? It's about bringing people together and having having that collaborative
sense of community.
Oh, exactly. 100%. And in my club with my Lighthouses, I really feel like we've got a wonderful community there. Which is it's just my favorite place on the internet.
I've heard that. I've heard that from you many times, and I've heard it from other people who have these patron clubs as well. That it's always a really supportive and kind of happy and encouraging environment. And again, like we discussed before, that's the environment where people grow and flourish, and you know, it's a nourishing environment. So I'm excited to see, you know, what I create that I couldn't have even thought of yet, you know, just by being in that environment. So yeah, I'm super excited. So the Emer Dreamers, I can't believe how many people have joined already, and I just can't wait to see how it grows and how I grow and how the whole community grows. So yeah, it's super exciting.
And what you're able to create with these amazing Emer Dreamers. I really can't wait. So obviously, of course, there is a link below in the description to the Emer Dreamer Club. So please do go and check that out. Look at the extensive list of things that Emer has put together and all the benefits from becoming a patron of hers and becoming an Emer Dreamer. So please do check that out. The link is in the description, and I'm sure it will very swiftly become your favorite place on the internet as well. But talking about our clubs and our dreamers and our Lighthouses, I do actually have a list of questions from my Lighthouses, the Mary-Jess Club. So I'm just going to get those up and get them ready for us to have a look at here. Okay, so the first question is from Sandor, and he says, I'm interested in learning her plans to tour. Any plans to come to the USA? The two of you as a duo going on tour. I mean, that would be fun. That would be so much fun. But you are going to the USA with Everdream, aren't you?
I am, for I think it's our 9th tour of the US. Well, I can't say tour of the US. It's a tour of the Pacific Northwest. So there's really only 2 states that we're touring. That's Washington.
This is your biggest one coming up, isn't it? As you said.
It is. There's more venues, but not more states, because the amount of driving it would take to get from venue to venue. And we sort of have a limited amount of time we're able to be in the US, because the 2 girls have kids. And, you know, as mothers, you don't want to be away for months on end. So for 2 weeks in December, I will be touring with Everdream, the Pacific Northwest, so Idaho and Washington State, with a Celtic Christmas. And yeah, at the moment, no plans to tour anywhere else or at any other time in the US. But I have a vision board on my wall that has, you know, another tour of the US. So I'm hoping that somehow a tour will materialize and I will be in the US, you know, traveling maybe a different part of the country at some point in the future, because I would love that. In 2019, I did tour with a different group during, I think it was February and March, called Songs of Ireland, and we did like 11 states or something. So I would
Wow.
love to do something like that again, but at the moment, the universe has not presented me with any of these opportunities, but it's on the vision board, so obviously it's going to happen. So yeah, so that's the answer to the first question. We'll be in the States, but only Washington State and Idaho. We aren't planning a tour together. We are planning other things together that your Lighthouses know about already.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. There will be like little snippets. We will be popping up and singing things, but no plans to tour. But that would be so much fun.
I feel like
So
we
much
need to put that on a vision board because it would be so much fun. Because I
fun.
popped over to you not that long ago so that we could
Yeah.
create lots of different things together.
Yeah.
So our social media hashtags and everything, our handles, sorry, are in the
Yes.
description. And so we're putting up snippets of all kinds of different songs. You even sang in Mandarin Chinese, Emer. I was so
I
impressed with
did.
you.
I'm one of these people who says, I'll just say yes and figure out how later.
Yeah.
So I just said yes. And then before I knew it, I was singing in Chinese. So that was very exciting.
It was exciting and you did a fabulous job. So yes,
Thank
we
you.
worked on a chorus of a Chinese song. So pop onto our social media and you'll see that once it's ready and once it's come up. But yeah, lots of different clips that we did together. So that was so much fun, Emer. And
Oh my goodness.
you're one of my favorite human beings. So if we could do a tour
Oh,
together, that would
I
just be,
know.
that would be amazing. That's something to put on the vision board, I think. We should do that.
Yeah. Who knows what'll materialize?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody, you never know. Like sometimes things just happen, and yeah, we'll see. Like I've actually never performed in the UK, so I might have to hop on over and
Yeah,
yeah, do
sort
something.
something
Well,
out.
yeah, but certainly your Lighthouses and my Dreamers will be the very first to find out if we do plan
Of course.
to go on tour together.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about your vision board, what else is on there? Can you let us
Ooh.
into the secret of
Okay,
what else is on the vision board?
so well, I really, as I said earlier, I love one of my favorite things is to create music videos. So I really want to build my YouTube channel to a place where, because I mean, I've had so many amazing, I've met so many amazing people through that YouTube channel, and I've done so much exciting work because of, people finding me on the internet, and YouTube is probably one of the best ways of discovering new people that you haven't heard of before. Like I got to sing on a video game a number of years ago because somebody found me on YouTube,
That's
so
amazing.
that's on my vision board to sort of really build that and get it to a place where I'm like, oh my God, there I am all over the
Yeah.
internet. So that's one of them. I would love to do the USA. I would love to, I really, really, really want to record an album that has original music on it.
Yeah.
Um, I
Oh
have
my
been
gosh.
working a little bit on that. I've never done original music before. I do have some half written songs, so that would be really exciting.
Oh, it
There's been
would.
an album on the back burner for quite a while, but COVID unfortunately just kind of took the sort of the finances away from me.
Mm.
So that had to be just, shelved for a little while, but it's only on the shelf and it'll come
Yeah.
back off the shelf at some point. So that's on my vision board as well. I would love to. I've sung with all the orchestras in Ireland, but I'd love to do more of that. I'd love to do some more TV.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there's lots of things on there. And yeah, I mean, yeah, there's lots of things, but I don't want to. I sort of don't want to be. I'm specific about some things and
Mm.
not so specific about others because I want to leave it up to sort of like maybe things that I couldn't have thought of myself that just sort of wander into my life.
Yeah. But I feel like that's the start, having it on the vision board, because then you can
Yeah.
see what you're aiming towards. You can start taking steps towards it. You might be able to recognize those opportunities a bit more.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
but all of these things that you've said they're all totally possible. And that's what
Yes.
makes it really exciting. Because you go, any of
Yes.
this could happen.
Absolutely. And so much of kind of what I'm learning through all of my books that I read now, is that, if we can actually, train ourselves to believe in the possibility of these things happening, they're much
Mm.
more likely to happen. So, this whole thing of positive thinking is not woo-woo. It's actually based in science and neuroplasticity and how powerful we actually are. And
Yeah.
all of that. And so I'm kind of like, okay, do you know what? I'll start with some visualization, some vision boards, some kind of just being a little bit sort of more, what's the word? Um, uh, Ambitious with my with what I believe to be possible.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
It's really exciting. Well, talking about exciting things that you're creating and coming up, Santo has got fabulous questions.
Okay, as always.
As always, he's got some great questions here. And I love these, especially because he mentions your Audrey Hepburn show. So he says,
Yes.
does she plan to do any more Audrey Hepburn shows besides the one in May? So I'm so glad you
Okay.
brought it up because your Audrey Hepburn show is so exciting as well. So yes, tell us all
Yeah.
about that.
This is one I did in 2019. I'm a lifelong fan of Audrey Hepburn. I just loved her growing up. I
Mm,
still love her. And in 2019, had she lived, she would have turned 90. So I threw her a little musical birthday party in the National Concert Hall,
wonderful.
and it went down really, really well. And then I thought, I really it's a show that I enjoy doing. I'm going to bring it back. So I have another date in the concert hall for next month. And then yes, I do plan to tour it in Ireland, kind of probably at this stage in 2025. And I guess I'll sort of see how it goes. I mean, it would be lovely to take it further afield, but there is always that sort of like you almost need somebody else to sort of say, hey, I'd like to bring this show to America, and
Mm,
here's how we're going to do it. Because you know when you're sort of wearing all of the hats,
yeah.
you run out of space in your head for doing, so you're like, I've written the show, I'm performing in the show, I'm organizing the show, I'm marketing the show, I'm doing the graphic design for the show.
Mm,
And it's just, at some point you're like, I might need a bit of help to make it, if I was to tour it or make it bigger.
yeah.
But the plan is to definitely tour it in Ireland next year. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, that would be amazing. And I completely understand, having organized my own tours and Christmas at the musicals that we did with our mutual friend Joanna.
Yeah.
There are so many hats that you're wearing. And it's already such a big financial risk organizing
Yes.
tours that
Yeah.
then when you think about how you need to hire somebody else in order to do all of these things, but it's already such a big financial risk.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a lot to think about, it's a lot to budget for, and
Yeah.
it's a lot to take on, basically, isn't
It
it?
is. It is.
So
Yeah.
if you've got a venue that says, actually, I'd love to have this show here, we can help you with XYZ, then
Exactly.
that takes some of the pressure off. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about having somebody say, yes, I think the show would be great in America, this is how we can do it,
Yes.
it just takes some of the pressure off, takes some of those hats off your head, and makes it so much
Yes.
more possible, because
Yeah.
you're just one person and then you're taking on the jobs of about at least 10 more people to try and get it
Mm-hmm.
all done and sorted, and it's a lot to take on.
It's a lot to take on, and even doing just this one show, there's quite
Mm.
a lot goes into it. And even just even marketing of the show,
Yeah.
there's just so much. And then there's always that you're checking every day to see how ticket sales are going. Can you afford to pay everybody? And so it's but you do all of it because I really want to create a show that people are going to enjoy. And I
Yeah.
know there's still a huge fascination with Audrey Hepburn, even,
Mm.
years and years after she's passed on. She's so iconic,
Oh yeah.
the last time I did it, people arrived to the concert wearing like pearls and little black dresses. Um, it
Wonderful.
was just, and I just thought it was, people just sort of thought, oh, I'm going to have a really classy day out. And I
Yeah.
love being the one that's creating that opportunity for people.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people kind of went for lunch beforehand and had a little glass of prosecco, and kind of made it made it an occasion. And I think we need
Mm.
so much. We need that more than ever now. Is
You're
this
completely
you
right.
know sense of occasion and an
Mm.
opportunity to meet up and have something to look forward to and spend time with special people. And
Yeah.
sometimes that means going to something, choosing to go to something with friends. And yeah, I love being part of creating that opportunity for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard of when the Downton Abbey movie last came out,
Yes.
people would dress up in the Downton Abbey
Yeah.
dress and costumes and everything and go to the cinema.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful thing to do. You're really making it a special occasion.
Yes.
And why
We
not?
need
Because like
that.
you say, we do need that. And it gives you something to look forward to, and it just makes life more special, doesn't it? When you
Oh, and
treat
we
things
need
like that.
that.
Oh, we
Like if
do.
If we learned anything from COVID, it was
Mm,
really that connecting with people was so important, and always having that something to look forward to is just so healthy for your
yeah.
brain to be happy, you know.
Mm,
Um, so you know, I'm always kind of looking to see what else can I plan, you know, who can I see? And you came over to me, you know, for a few days, and it wasn't actually initially to create anything. It was like, I actually just really want to have something to look forward to, and I want to spend
yeah.
time with my friend, and you
Yeah.
know, and that's it's so important for us to always have that, have make life interesting, make it
Yeah.
exciting, make it full of connection, you know.
Yeah, and have those things to look forward to. You're
Yeah.
completely right. Well, you've mentioned the Audrey Hepburn show, but
Yes.
Santo says, are there any other shows that you're thinking of creating? But I know you had another one, didn't you?
Yeah, myself and my friend Owen Hines, who's a beautiful tenor,
Mm,
we created a show called Iconic, and that was exactly what it says on the tin.
mm.
It was the world's most iconic music all brought together. So there was things like, you know, you would have Moon River in there, Wuthering Heights, Nessun Dorma, probably
Oh,
the most
brilliant.
iconic, you know, tenor aria ever.
Yeah.
And then we had an instrumentalist as well, and there was things like Schindler's List. So it was just basically a concert full of iconic pieces of music, so that every every track or every song we did was, oh my god, I love that song, you know. So I'm planning. I do hope to tour that with Owen as well. Next year we have one booking so far, and we're hoping to do more. Then obviously there's a Celtic Christmas that goes on tour in December, and at some point I would like to tour as me. That I'm the
Yeah.
show.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
Emer Barry is the show. So
Yeah.
yeah, always building towards that. That at some point, if I do complete this album that's been in my head for a number of years, to tour that under my own name would be fabulous. I would love that. That's kind of what I'm working towards. So yeah,
Mm.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's on the vision board, isn't it?
It
So
is.
you've made a
So it's
start
gonna
of it
happen.
already. You'll put it out to the
Exactly.
universe on the vision board. Um,
Exactly.
so yes, I love the idea that it's already out there and you're building towards that.
Yes.
But you're so good at building towards things and building other skill sets. And so during COVID, you learned video editing so that you could put
Did.
more content out and more
Yeah.
beautiful music out. So I love how you build those skill sets so that you're then able to do the things that you like to do. And this is something that Santo is asking in his next question. He says, how long does it take her to create and edit a video? So I've obviously Santo knows all about your video skills because you've been helping me so much with The Moon Represents My Heart. You put together the video of that for Vov and Glenn and I, which I was so grateful for. And it's an amazing skill that you have there. So he says, how long does it take you to create and edit a video?
Well, initially when I was learning, it took quite a while because, you know, you're like, I always find it so funny that when you're learning how to do something new, especially with technology, there's always a full day of, why do they make it so complicated?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard? And then suddenly you know how to do it because, you know,
Mm,
you've got watched all the YouTube videos and you've kind of fiddled around. And then suddenly you're like, oh, you just press this and this and this and this and this, and then you're done. You know,
mm,
so I think for me, whenever anybody asks me for help with something, I sort of feel, well, goodness me, if I can spare them that entire day of why is it so complicated, you know, by just kind of doing it, because initially it does take quite a long time to get used to it and get to grips with how it all works.
mm,
Now it doesn't take me that long, you know, because now I know where everything is. I know exactly how to do it. So, um, you know, obviously more complicated videos take longer. But in terms of sort of more simpler videos with not much changing of kind of you know, frames and different sort of angles and things like that, it's a little bit easier. So yeah, it doesn't take me that long, you know, like an hour or two to sort of finish a video. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's very clever, and you've become very, very quick at it.
Yeah.
And it's creating our videos together was so much fun. So once again,
Yeah.
if our lovely listeners would like to see any more of your videos or any of the ones that we've created together, there are links in the description below, so that you can definitely check that out. So we have one last question from my Lighthouses in the Mary-Jess Club, and I love this question. This is, what is the one thing that she hasn't done which she would really like to do?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh.
It's a good question, isn't it? I mean, I know you've already said about going on tour as yourself,
Yeah.
which is a great one, but is there anything like quite off the wall that you can think of that's that one thing?
Yeah, do you know, I would love if a song was featured in like some sort of film or Netflix series or something. Like
Oh,
imagine how
yeah.
incredible that would be,
Oh my
you know,
gosh,
whether
it
it's
would.
yeah, whether it's a cover I've done or a song I've written, you know, but things like that can happen, you know,
Yeah.
that somebody, like with Pure Imagination, somebody just came across it and went, this fits in here. There's always the chance that something will fit in somewhere and you
Yes.
don't know. So, yeah, for me, if I was going to go really sort of ambitious on my vision board, it would be, you know, for a song of mine to be featured in a movie or a series on Netflix or Apple or something. But, you know, but that's dreaming very big.
Good.
that's
Why
that's
not?
big dreams.
Why not dream big?
I mean, you know, I've got music out there. Who knows? Like
Mm.
there's a movie. Have you ever seen oh, what is it? Three billboards outside. Three billboards. The movie. You ever
I don't
seen
think
it?
I have. No,
Oh,
normally unless Disney's made it, I haven't seen it.
oh. Okay, so it's definitely not Disney, I'll tell you that much. It's brilliant though. I absolutely Frances McDormand is in it and she's phenomenal. I think it won a couple of Oscars. Anyway, in that, the very beginning of that movie is an opera singer singing The Last Rose of Summer.
Oh,
And
lovely.
you know, that's an Irish song.
Mm.
Um, and I just remember watching this movie and going, "Oh my goodness, who would have thunk it? This, you know, this old Irish song sung in an operatic style is opening this, you know, Oscar-winning movie, or I don't know if it
Wow.
won an Oscar, the movie itself, but it was certainly in the running somewhere. And I
Yeah.
just thought, you know, anything is possible. You never know where you're going to slot in or where you're going to appeal to some artistic person's
Yeah.
vision for their project. So I just remember that, storing that in my mind and thinking, well, if an opera singer singing The Last Rose of Summer can open this movie, it's not that it's not that far-fetched for me to think somebody could listen to one of my songs and go, oh, I see how this perfectly fits in with my vision for this project. So that is my big dream. I would love
Oh, I love that.
that.
That's wonderful. Well, I want to say thank you so much to my lovely lighthouses in the Mary-Jess Club for their questions to put to you, Emer. And if you get my words out, if you lovely listeners would like to find out more about the Mary-Jess Club and the Emer Dreamer Club, we have those links in the description below. So please do go and check those out. Well, Emer, you've been a fabulous guest. Thank you so
Yay,
much
thank you.
again for joining us on the
So
Mary-Jess
thrilled.
Meets podcast. And I can't wait to carry on talking, carry on our chats, carry on seeing what you create now with the help of your dreamers. And
Exactly.
we'll have you back on the podcast again very soon, I am sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Catch you again soon. Bye.
Bye.